Let's talk about the basics of the take-up laser. I want to touch on how you turn it on and off, some basic operation, as well as some reason as to why you would use this in your training, or if you're an instructor, how you use it in a class. This is a general overview, but let's touch on some basics. The top portion of the CERT training pistol for the 107 has this little switch right here, okay? Now, when that is forward, we have the take-up laser activated. That means when we prep the trigger, all right, the red laser comes on, and then when we break that shot, all right, of course, we have the shot indicating laser, all right? So you may think, well, why have that? You know, why do we care when the trigger is prepped? There's a few reasons why you might care about that. First off is safety. Like if I'm drawing, as you can see in the close-up camera here, and this is on way too early, if I have my finger on my trigger too early as I draw and present out, that's a problem, right? You only put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Not ready to use, ready to actually shoot. So there's a lot of safety tied around the take-up laser. Also, if like right here, and I'll show on the close-up screen here, that if I prep, break, I want to reset and re-prep, get on that trigger pretty quick and break that shot, all right? I want to get enough of that distinct reset and then re-prep, break, and then get on that shot, all right? So there's some performance aspects to that. So we prep, break, reset, re-prep, because we're always trying to gear ourselves to take multiple shots, all right? And I also talk about in the other video how you can adjust the impact of that in the video related to adjusting the lasers. But honestly, for a lot of your high volume training, you'll probably just want to turn that take-up laser off. So again, I have the tool right back here in the base. So I can take and remove this tool. This is for adjusting the lasers, it has a bit of a hex wrench on it, and I can just pop that thing back. If you got some thin fingernails, you can kind of reach in there and like get it back, but if you have any issue with that, just use a pen or just a little something to reach in there. Now I just got shot indicating only, and I do not have that take-up laser on, because it can be a little bit distracting at times if you're going both eyes open and shooting. So about 90% of the training is probably with the take-up laser off. But here's a new feature we have in the 107 as well as in our pocket pistol, and that is adjusting when that take-up laser is activated with respect to the trigger pull. And if that's confusing, let me explain that. So here's what we've learned just from interfacing and being very tactile with the markets out there. We don't just want to have the laser activate when it's fully prepped, all right? Sometimes we want that take-up laser to activate when it's even touched and feathered, all right? So, because as you know, if you have your finger in the trigger guard like so, you know, and something happens, the lights go off, you know, you have a 20-pound contraction in your forefinger. So even if you have a New York trigger, you're gonna, you know, cook off a round, which can be problematic because you know, you're likely not ready to shoot. So this is a feature we've listened to the market, and of course we're, you know, big, you know, our message is we help save lives. So part of the training is to help all markets, you know, law enforcement, open enrollment, everything, have the tools to see if the people have their finger on the trigger. So take note of this hole in the very top portion. What this does, this adjusts when the take-up laser is activated, and it works like this. So I'm going to turn the take-up laser on by flicking that switch, all right, right there. Now I'm going to just turn this thing down. So you can see when I have full prep, all right, it's activated. So let me back off on the trigger a little bit, and then I'm going to bring this thing down, 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 so it activates quicker, all right? So see, I'm not pulling that trigger very much, and it activates, and I can push it all the way down to where it's a constant on, which is another kind of cool feature. So we can continue to adjust this. So let's look how sensitive this is. I'm just like feathering that trigger, and the take-up laser is coming on. So you can imagine, like say you're in law enforcement and you're doing some drills like in a, you know, a stack or whatever, so you know, some in-service stuff, and all of a sudden you see the red laser come on. Or you do a little drill, for example, where you turn off the lights real quick and you just kind of watch, and does the red laser come on anywhere? Because if that, you know, if that red laser comes on, you know someone put their finger on the trigger inappropriately. So some huge training going on there. So as also as I talk about adjusting the trigger, you can lighten up the trigger so it's even easier to activate if you want to really sort of tweak the variables there. So right here you can see, like I can just set it, it's like adjusting a carburetor. Yep, so right now it's constant on, so I back it off a little bit, and that is like, Yeah, that is like breathe on it and the take-up laser comes on. Be careful with this adjustment, because if you leave that switch on and it gets bumped or whatever in your bag, that red laser can stay on and burn out the battery. All right, so just be cautious on that adjustment, and in an abundance of caution, maybe turn that switch off so the take-up laser's off. All right, so that is really the basics of the take-up laser. On the Pocket Pistol 107, that it is adjustable as to when it activates. Huge training. Expect to see a lot of training videos on utilizing that, so we can be all the safer for ourselves and as we instruct others.